What is Newton's first law of motion?
Newton's first law states that an object will remain at rest or in uniform motion in a straight line unless acted upon by an external force. What is inertia? Inertia is the tendency of an object to resist changes in its motion. How is inertia related to mass? Inertia is directly proportional to the mass of an object. The greater the mass, the greater the inertia. Newton's second law states that the acceleration of an object is directly proportional to the net force acting on it and inversely proportional to its mass. Formula for Newton's second law is force equal to mass times acceleration. What is momentum? Momentum is the product of an object's mass and velocity and is a measure of its motion. What is the equation for momentum? Answer: momentum P equals mass times velocity P equals mv. What is the law of conservation of momentum? Answer: the law of conservation of momentum states that the total momentum of a closed system remains constant if no external forces act on it. How is momentum related to force and time? Answer: momentum is equal to the force applied to an object multiplied by the time over which it is applied. What is impulse? Answer: impulse is the change in momentum of an object when a force is applied over a period of time. What is the impulse-momentum theorem? Answer: the impulse-momentum theorem states that the impulse applied to an object is equal to the change in momentum of the object. How can you increase the momentum of an object? Answer: by increasing its mass, velocity, or both. What is the unit of force? Answer: the unit of force is the Newton, N. What is the unit of momentum? Answer: the unit of momentum is kilogram-meter per second. What is terminal velocity? Answer: terminal velocity is the constant speed that a freely falling object eventually reaches when the resistance of the medium through which it is falling prevents further acceleration. What is the relationship between force and acceleration? Answer: force is directly proportional to acceleration, as stated by Newton's second law. How does Newton's third law of motion relate to action and reaction? Answer: Newton's third law states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Give an example of Newton's third law in action. Answer: when you push against a wall, the wall pushes back with an equal force, preventing you from passing through it. What is a balanced force? Answer: balanced forces are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, resulting in no change in an object's motion. What is an unbalanced force? Answer: unbalanced forces are unequal in magnitude, causing changes in an object's motion. How does friction affect motion? Answer: friction opposes the motion of objects in contact, reducing their speed or stopping them altogether. Explain the concept of inertia in terms of a moving car suddenly stopping. Answer: when a car stops suddenly, passengers tend to lurch forward due to their inertia, as their bodies resist the change in motion. Why is it easier to push an empty shopping cart than a full one? Answer: the full shopping cart has more mass, resulting in greater inertia, which makes it harder to change its motion. How does a rocket propel itself in space? Answer: A rocket propels itself by expelling mass at high velocity in the opposite direction, according to Newton's third law. Why do astronauts experience weightlessness in orbit? Answer: astronauts experience weightlessness because they are in free fall around the Earth, and there is no force acting against them to create a sense of weight. How does momentum affect collisions between objects? Answer: momentum is conserved in collisions, so the total momentum before a collision is equal to the total momentum after the collision. Why does a baseball player follow through when hitting a ball? Answer: the follow-through allows the player to apply force to the ball for a longer period, increasing the impulse and thereby the momentum transferred to the ball. What role does force play in changing the state of motion of an object? Answer: force is necessary to change the state of motion of an object, whether it's accelerating, decelerating, or changing direction. Why does a feather fall more slowly than a brick in air? Answer: the feather has a higher air resistance relative to its mass compared to the brick, causing it to fall more slowly. How does a parachute work? Answer: a parachute increases air resistance, slowing down the descent of the person attached to it. How does the mass of an object affect its inertia? Answer: the greater the mass of an object, the greater its inertia, meaning it resists changes in its motion more strongly. Why do astronauts wear heavy boots when walking on the moon? Answer: astronauts wear heavy boots to increase their inertia and stability in the low-gravity environment of the moon. How does friction between tires and the road affect driving? Answer: friction between tires and the road provides the necessary traction for vehicles to accelerate, decelerate, and turn safely. What is the relationship between mass and acceleration in Newton's second law? Answer: mass and acceleration are inversely proportional in Newton's second law. A greater mass requires a larger force to achieve the same acceleration. Why does a swimmer push against the water with their arms to move forward? Answer: by pushing against the water with their arms, the swimmer creates an action-reaction pair, propelling themselves forward through the water. How does air resistance affect the motion of a falling object? Answer: air resistance opposes the motion of a falling object, reducing its acceleration and eventually reaching terminal velocity. Why does a pitcher follow through when throwing a baseball? Answer: following through allows the pitcher to transfer more momentum to the ball by extending the time over which the force is applied. How does momentum affect the outcome of a collision between two objects? Answer: momentum is conserved in collisions, meaning the total momentum before the collision is equal to the total momentum after the collision. What factors affect the force of friction between two surfaces? Answer: factors affecting friction include the roughness of the surfaces, the force pressing the surfaces together, and the type of material. Why do seat belts help protect passengers in a car crash? Answer: seat belts increase the time over which the force of impact acts on the passengers, reducing the impulse and potential injuries. How does the shape of an object affect air resistance? Answer: objects with streamlined shapes experience less air resistance than those with irregular shapes, as the air flows more smoothly around them. Why does a tennis player follow through when hitting a ball? Answer: Following through allows the player to transfer more momentum to the ball and maintain control over its direction and speed. How does the force of gravity affect objects on Earth? Answer: gravity pulls objects towards the center of the Earth, causing them to accelerate downward at a rate of 9.8 meters per second squared. How does Newton's third law explain how birds fly? Answer: birds fly by pushing air downwards with their wings, creating an upward force, lift, according to Newton's third law. Why does a soccer ball roll to a stop after being kicked? Answer: the friction between the ball and the ground, along with air resistance, gradually slows down the ball until it comes to a stop.